Hello all, this is the last trailer that came out of Star Trek Day that I'll be looking at, the trailer for Star Trek Prodigy. Nailed it. I will also be looking into other things, such as the intro cinematic that was released for more information, and I already did a video covering my predictions for the USS Protostar itself, from which it seems one of my predictions is true. The Protostar does indeed house some form of experimental warp drive, and it really is built for speed. All I need now is a throwaway comment about how Tom Paris worked on designing it and I'll be chuffed. In the intro sequence, we see that the Protostar's secondary hull literally unfolds at the rear and a third nacelle-like structure is housed within. Remember the Men in Black car from the cartoon series? Well, when this flares up, more speed. So it seems to be some form of transwarp drive. My money was on quantum slipstream, which would be a natural progression from tech we've already seen in the lore, and another tie to the Voyager series as it was originally discovered in the Delta Quadrant. Speaking of cars, however, it seems that the Protostar may be equipped with a ground vehicle akin to the Argo, but it's larger, reminding me a lot of the Nomad, with its all-terrain wheels and enclosed frame. Presumably, as the Protostar is small enough for planetary landing, it deploys from the lowered ramp, which may also double as the shuttle bay, considering the usual location for such a bay is taken up by this FTL drive. But focusing on the show's look and tone, quite simply, it's going to be for kids. So although there is a lot of lore and background information for them to take from and to flesh out this corner of the Trek universe, I don't think there are going to be too many deep lore ties to other series, with the exception of the Delta Quadrant stuff and Janeway. I think anything we do see will be explained in surface level detail, as this series is probably for drawing in younger audiences to explore the rest of Trek. Then again, Clone Wars and Rebels were child friendly, but told strong stories with compelling characters, and found an audience among long-time fans as much as the original target demographic. If not more, let's face it. I'm expecting the same from this. Although, aside from original Trek, there's not much else Star Trek related for younger audiences to engage with. Certainly not any shows currently being produced. The tone is lighter and jovial, and the fact we are not following a Starfleet crew is going to definitely mean there is a far looser adherence to things like a Prime Directive or Protocol. I'll be curious to see what an outside opinion of Starfleet is when confronted by Janeway and the Protostar. There is not much more we get about the crew that we didn't already know. rok'tak is the Precarian, before only mentioned in beta canon. Zero is a Medusan in a robo-suit for mobility, although minus legs this time. Jankum is the Tellarite techie with a robot arm, and Gwyn is still a relatively unknown/new species, but considering she is tied to the chair for part of the trailer, I guess she was sent to get the ship back but ends up joining them. Dal is also somewhat of a mystery, as I still can't find any information on his species, and they've made an effort not to address that, so probably a plot point, but he purple. Murph is clearly the secret big bad of the entire show. The Hollow Janeway identified them as promising material for Starfleet, but I still remain curious as to what her objectives are going to be. Keep the crew alive, prepare them for the Delta Quadrant encounters, sure, that's a given, but what about returning the ship to Starfleet? Granted, as a hologram that might not be a directive in her programming. Could also be that she has been offline or damaged by those who obtained the Protostar, trying to prevent their prize from being taken away again. We'll just have to see, but clearly she is going to fulfill the role of a mentor and guide more than a captain, as the hologram has no pips on its collar. The narrative seems to be that the crew are working on this dead-end planet outside of Federation space in a mine run by a new species, the rok'tak. I think the Overseer is probably Gwyn's father. It's not a nice place. Somehow, the Protostar ends up here. I'm guessing as a prized piece that the mine's overseers are trying to get working or something. Eventually, the ragtag crew find it, stumble aboard and make a break for it, escaping the mine. How they end up in the Delta Quadrant is still a mystery, but I'm guessing during their flight from the mines they inadvertently activate its drive and transwarp all the way to the Delta Quadrant. Adventure ensues. There is a lot more stuff in this trailer, but with little context other than what we can see. This verdant planet that they end up crashing down on, as well as shots of a red-eyed robot thing. But I have no idea. In some of the shots that fly by, we do get to see a brief clip of a Kazon. I can't tell what sect he's from. It doesn't look Nistrum because he's not wearing the bright sash, but then again, judging by the shrouded individual next to him, he's probably trying to be discreet. The Kazon reside in the far fringes of the Delta Quadrant, out beyond the Necrit Expanse. This was a very large nebular region that acted as a natural barrier bisecting the quadrant. On one side, you had the less technologically savvy species, such as the Talaxians, Kazon, and Okumpa, while on the other, you had the Voth, Krenim, and a higher Borg population. So, to encounter the Kazon, the Protostar is going to have to end up a mighty distance from the Delta-Beta border, presumably as far as Voyager went. I'm looking forward to the show, but more for the ship and the chance to revisit the Delta Quadrant. I did a video covering a bunch of plot threads I'd like to see revisited in some way, but honestly, I'm not expecting an in-depth lore bomb of a season. Still, I'll be checking it out as it comes along, so until then, thanks for watching. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later for another lore, theory, or general sci-fi video. Thanks again, and goodbye.